Hey guys, it's Marissa from Grow in the Flow, and I'm coming in here for the first time in 2022 on Sunday, January 2nd. We have an amazing super new moon in Capricorn happening now. It's Self-Care Sunday, and we have our first full week of the new year ahead of us. So I have a number of cards here that I want to check out, just kind of check in with the collective, see what's coming up in the energies, get some guidance for this new moon, a little bit of self-care, and of course, a little peek at the week ahead energies. So first up, I have the Moonology card for this lunation, the new moon in Capricorn, with this affirmation of step up and lead. And this is really a wonderful new moon to be working with for new goals, new intentions, new aspirations. Capricorn, earth sign, we are really getting down to business here about what it is that we want to bring in and setting our small achievable goals, practical steps, taking them one at a time. Slow and steady wins the race. That is a theme that I have been seeing come up in all of the 2022 year ahead readings that I've been doing. That has been a theme of really finding your own pace, your own groove. And there's just so much synchronicity coming up. I'm seeing so many messages out there today that are really consistent with the guidance that came up in the collective reading I did the other day. Tuning into 2022, we were looking at spirit animal for the year, color energies, crystal energies. We got a lot of great messages that came through from there, and I'm really enjoying seeing how synchronistic that seems to be with a lot of the messages I've been hearing about this opportunity for magic, making magic in 2022. And there's two other words I have been getting: empower, of course, being empowered, standing in our empowerment, and ease, this word of ease, really getting into a flow, into a groove again for being empowered and calling in the magic. So I have a couple of color energy sprays here too. I just want to take everybody through these before I start pulling cards for this moon specifically. In the Moonology guidance, talking about calling in Archangel Michael, protection, communication, clarity, cutting through. So I'm definitely feeling this gorgeous cobalt blue Archangel Michael coming in strong with the protection, but also the clarity of really cutting through whatever it is, again, that we have left behind in 2021 and what it is that we're bringing forward with us. Now, of course, with that process, there is always, a little bit of grief. This is the Bluebell Bridge, which is a beautiful spray that is all about processing and moving through loss and grief. And, as bittersweet as it can be to turn the page from one year into the next, and some of us may have been moving rather enthusiastically forward into this new year for many reasons, of course. But, there's just always as we're closing out different phases, we have new beginnings. Of course, they come from other things ending. So to the extent that anyone is processing loss and grief, I wanted to bring in this energy. I've already infused the space, but I'm just going to spray that in here again, because this is a really beautiful spray for helping to move through that natural process. Now, magic, I am really feeling Merlin. So we have this amazing spray, the Merlin Connection and Mentorship Ascended Master Spray. I have not had an opportunity to work with this much. I'm really looking forward to it this year. The timing feels right. It wasn't right for me when it came, when I received it. It just wasn't a good time for me, what was going on around me. And I'm really feeling now that I am ready to call the magic in. So I wanted to bring that energy in for us as well. So let's go ahead and start taking a look at these cards. I have the Queen of the Moon Oracle here to do a quick new moon spread. Of course, taking a look at, what am I looking to manifest and bring in this new moon? So getting some insight for the collective into what it is that we are calling in this new moon. So let's get that card here. What is rising up to be brought in? The main message this new moon. So what do we need to know about the main message for this new moon? And of course, the final outcome on the other side of this new moon as we move into and through January, the first month of this year. What is the outcome coming up there? So let's go ahead and flip these over. Then we'll pull our cards for the week. Oh, perfect. Very nice. So we have here the card of faith, and this is another one that is giving us slow and steady wins the race, having faith in the seeds that we are planting, having faith in the intentions that we are setting. And I want to say that in an empowered way. We're talking about having hope, having faith, which can sometimes suggest, holding a belief outside of ourself, putting our expectations in other external sources in order for things to come in. And that's not what I mean here. I mean here that you have been doing the work. There are seeds that you have planted. There are things that you are gestating, ideas, wishes, dreams, aspirations, changes that you're looking to birth into the world. And this is a card that talks all about really connecting in with, this is, of course, bringing in earth, grounding in, getting connected with nature, because we're really stripping away, again, cutting out all the excess and all the things that are not helping to foster and nurture and cultivate what it is you're looking to grow. So as we cut all of those things out, we're sort of doing like a cleanup here, where we're clearing out all of that excess and we're really readying the fields. And I really feel like the winter, this has been coming up, is going to be really that continued period of going within, honoring the darkness, working with the shadow, to whatever extent you are here to do the work. You're going through the phases, the labor pains, the processes to birth something into the world. So we wanted to know here what's rising up and what is the overarching theme. Well, we're standing in our power. Again, we are owning our power, we're owning our worth, and we are bringing it in a big way. And this is really, this is the card for the full moon, but super moon means that the moon is closer to the earth, so that the energies that are reflected in a given moon phase are even more amplified. So it's even more prevalent and available, those energies for you to be working with. So this is really like owning it, standing in your power, moving through the cycles and honoring each one. But then we have the outcome, and that is the card of pleasure. But this looks to me like between the butterflies, which is really showing that beautiful transformation, this card always has a bit of a fool energy to it. Like from the tarot, we have the fool setting out on adventure, rather carefree, open, no expectations, just really embracing whatever is. This has that element to it, but also I'm liking how this is giving me like different timeline energy, this idea of all these potentialities that exist. When you're on day one or day two, we just have this new beginning energy, this clean slate energy of what are we going to be birthing? What am I going to be bringing forward? I've been looking back at some of the things that I said last year. I was looking at my reading I did for myself in December of 2020. I even had a video that I had recorded where I was just like, maybe I'll explore the level 2 Metatron color healing. I don't know, because I really, and I was just kind of mulling it over. And to know how that turned out now, to follow that timeline through and see that I did it. I completed it. I went through that process. I have qualified. I am a Metatron color healing practitioner. I do offer those things. It's amazing that in the moment, in the nitty gritty, it didn't feel like it, just this smooth transition that happened. There was a lot of growing pains. There was a lot of twists and turns and delays and second guessing and all the things that tend to go into it, in that metamorphosis process. But to see that that's where I was then, it's kind of opening up the idea of, well, what is it that I'm mulling over now that is going to be a reality at the other end of this timeline? Or what magic am I going to make that right now I'm just kind of mulling over as just a possibility, So what are you considering as possibilities? Again, what are we gestating? What are we looking to birth into the world? And then stand in that power and really envision yourself bringing that into a reality and standing in that energy and calling that energy in. So there's definitely a consistent message about that whole idea of our expectations equaling our magnetization, what we're magnetizing in, what we're calling in, and just holding that vibration, even if it's not here yet, even if um, it's far off. There could be a lot of steps between here and there for you to completely realize a given timeline or trajectory that you want to take, but that's okay, because you want to get into that energy and embody that so that you can bring it into reality. Really, you're manifesting. So that's really cool. Let's go ahead and pull out the tarot cards. We have Light Seers here, and we're going to go ahead and look into this next week ahead for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday energy. So we'll get an overarching energy for the week, and then we'll get our 5 cards that I usually do for the week ahead, where we look at a number of different energies coming in for the collective. So let's go ahead and get one card for the overarching energy. Set that there. And then I'm going to pull one for Monday, which is sort of an overview of the week ahead. Take that one. I'll wait to flip them. And then we're going to do Tuesday, potential challenges or blocks this week, things that could come up to be aware of. And again, it's not necessarily that day. It could be any day of the week that these energies are coming in. So let's go ahead and see about challenges. Now we have Wednesday, a midweek blessing. Thursday, how am I growing? And Friday, the weekly wrap up. I'm just tuning into that here. See what's coming up. Ooh, yep. And of course, we have our overarching energy here. Wow. Okay, so we've got some pretty powerful cards coming in here for this week. We have the overarching energy of death. Yes, the death card is rebirth. We are starting anew. We're setting out. There's transformation happening. We talked about the card for loss and grief. And, with that, there was a nod with the Moonology guidance to call in Archangel Azrael, who is the Archangel of death, the Archangel of grief, and processing grief. So I'm getting that nod here too, with the death rebirth card and the energy of transformation, the energy of, really clearing, again, shedding the layers, shedding the skins, really getting to a place where we have stripped down, picked clean to the bone, and we've left behind all of the excess and all that was no longer serving to really begin this new journey into this next year. So having that as sort of our overarching energy, and I'm going to bring that right there. We take a look at Monday. We have 4 major arcana cards here. We have the Chariot energy. So yeah, we are rolling into the new year. Things are going to get moving. A lot of people, tomorrow marks going back to work, going back to school, getting back into our routines, or perhaps starting new routines, but in the driver's seat, balanced, poised. Now, yes, oftentimes it's, cliche. People start hitting the ground running with a lot of enthusiasm and positivity about starting new routines and the different New Year's resolutions, all that kind of stuff. And that's great. And again, we're going to be present with the idea that we're just honoring wherever we are in a given time. So yeah, that's great. If you're ready to rock, if you're rolling and you're going to hit the ground running, go with that. But also recognize that it's okay if you're still sort of warming the engine up and haven't quite gotten there yet and you're still figuring it out. Or maybe it's just not for you. January 1st is just another day. And, it's not something where you're feeling like you need to make all of these very specific, goals and map out this plan, but the energy of the Chariot is here nonetheless, because there is movement. There is this opportunity for us to take things to another level. And so that's really coming in here very strongly. Now, what could kind of counteract with that? We have the challenge energy here of the Devil. Now, the Devil was the card that came up in the reading I did for our collective energies for 2022. It was the tarot card, the overarching tarot energy that came up for 2022. And I talked about that at length, about how it is the counterpart to the Lovers, and this being a 6 year and the year of the Lovers, which I cannot tell you how much I'm seeing the number 6 everywhere and how much 6 energy has been coming forward. But here we have that other aspect of the devil, the aspects of ourself that we may be falling into any types of patterns or old ways of being or temptation in a way that could be trying to take us off course. If we have something where we want to go, we have something we've worked out as far as a map or a plan of where we're headed, and here comes the devil energy to just be like, you sure about that? And kind of bringing in that seed of doubt, bringing in that devil on the shoulder to sort of question things, or maybe get up in our own heads, like with that stinking thinking of not enough-isms and comparisonitis and all those kind of things that can really try to throw us off course. But, we've got this heads up that we know that there's that aspect of ourself. There's this aspect of that darker shadow energy that comes up to just sort of continue to always show us this alternate path, maybe one that we've explored many times before that we're well aware is not the direction that we want to be going into. So we're keeping an eye out for the aspect of that devil energy. And what is it going to take for that? Well, we have a midweek blessing, King of Swords. Again, this is no nonsense cutting through the BS. I'm really feeling this air element, the Archangel Michael energy that we've brought in for really cutting through and getting some clarity, truth bringing. Again, the wind aspect is bringing in some pretty fast moving energy between the Chariot and the King of Swords here, which I really think things just kind of hit the ground running. And there's a lot of animal energy here as well, with the crow representing the change. We have the wisdom of the owl. We have bat energy. There's dragonfly. There's just a lot of symbolism here in terms of this feels like tools that we have. This feels like guide and spirit energy that we have having our backs. The wind is at our back here, and we can sort of work through this with some precision. There's some precision that can be taken to really cut through and get some clarity here when we are things get convoluted and all of that stuff comes in to sort of throw us off course. We can really cut through all of that. Now, how are we growing? Here's more convoluted energy. We have the moon. Okay, so again, we have major arcana energy. We have this new moon energy we're in now. Here is the moon card where we're talking about a lot of emotion, things being kind of illusory or in shadow. Again, sort of feeling that the denseness of the watery energies here of a lot of emotion and a lot of depth. And so looking at this and this, we have this aspect of duality, and that is the lover's energy, the devil energy. We have the energy coming in of yin and yang, light and dark, divine masculine, divine feminine, all of the different aspects of light and shadow that come in that are all part of the process. All of these things are necessary for this journey that we are on. So, this is how are we growing. And again, that's where between the blessing of the clarity, cutting through, being able to kind of balance out these very deep emotions and things sort of being convoluted, to having that air element of clarity coming in, fresh air, a new breathing new life into it. So it does feel like, and this is also giving like that the counterpart of the masculine and feminine energy as well. There's new energy on the horizon, and this is the first full week that it's arrived. So again, don't go too crazy. I mean, I do feel like there's a lot happening, obviously, and we have the Chariot energy, we have the Swords energy here that denote that more fast-paced things are moving, but don't just sort of be aware of it and allow yourself to just sort of calibrate, recalibrate yourself to this energy that's coming in with a quickness and a fierceness. Now, for the weekly wrap up, we have the 5 of Wands. So again, I don't know. This just does feel like a little bit of that comparison-itis and like competition energy. This is my stirring the poop card, just stirring around old stuff that's not really serving anybody, but there's this energy of like grappling for the top and scrambling to get there and things that just, aren't going to serve you when it comes to working towards your goals. I'm getting a little tickle in my throat. So that feels like some throat chakra energy. Excuse me. It feels like something that you may have to say or express that is in this energy of arguments, disagreements, just again, being on different wavelengths, being on different lines where lines are crossed and there's a lack of clarity there. So I think when it comes to things that you have to say and communication, let me bring in Archangel Michael here. That's something to sort of tread lightly with here. Right now, you're spending a lot of time within, really mapping out what you're doing. You're gestating. We're really working through some of that internal shadow stuff. But there's just a lot of inner reflection going on here where I don't know so much about the external, something just to be aware of there with that aspect of stirring things around with other people. So let's go ahead and I'm going to pick one more card. Really, it's tickling my throat. So sorry. One more card here to just give us a little bit of clarity on that, little punctuation mark on what these energies are coming forward for us this first week. What do we most need to know as we move forward into this week? Ooh, I love it. 9 of Pentacles. So again, this is that card of cultivating your own garden, and all of these tools and all of these resources that you have and this wisdom that you have. Again, this is you minding your own garden, working away on your own craft, really taking all of these goodies that you have to work with and putting them to use. It's just, this card always gives me that vibe of like, the garden at home and this idea that we can take a look into other people's gardens and see what's going on over there and just be like, oh, how'd their garden get that way and everything. This over concern. This is really telling you to tune into your own, mind your own garden and really find the joy and pleasure in that. Like, you have all of this going on here, all of these options, all of these opportunities for you to really keep yourself busy for quite some time, that you don't need to be expending any energy in this poop stirring. That's kind of what I'm getting there from that. But it's really beautiful because it is about all of those little aspects that birth this in, all of these things that you're lining up right now in this new moon in Capricorn. Now we're going to get out the tools and have some fun with this. Look at this cauldron, talking about making the magic and calling it in and setting that tone and being in that vibration. There's just something that already feels lighter, even just thinking about that. I'm not thinking about any heavy pressure about resolutions or what other people are doing and how I feel behind or whatever, whatever any of that energy could be. I'm focusing on what I have going on over here and what I'm putting into my pot and what I'm bringing forward. So, and this is, we saw the owl energy come up a few times here. So definitely that wisdom of connecting in with higher self, with guides. And again, I do feel that protective energy, that there is a lot of help around right now, a lot of ancestral guidance. And again, like these this thin veil between like these different aspects of ourself when we talk about thinking back to last New Year and where we were and what our ambitions may have been at the beginning of this past year and where things ended this year. And now revisiting that place anew with hopefully what we're bringing in is a new outlook, that even the things that didn't go the way we planned in the previous year, or the things that didn't quite come to fruition the way we thought, what do we need to know about those things? What lessons do we bring forward with us? What blessings do we carry forward with us? And now we have all of this new energy happening here in our gardens. So with those cards for the week ahead, I'm going to go ahead and bring in a self-care card. And I have here on the top the card of surprise, because that's another thing. I just think we got a message from our higher self at the end of the reading I did the other day for 2020, and it was a Jack in the Box talking about having fun and just laughing. And we talked about that element of surprise and how some people are big fans, some people not so much. But I think that one thing that 2022 really has in store for us is a lot of surprises, a lot of magic, a lot of opportunity and potential. So let's go ahead and see what guidance we get for our own self-care here for this Sunday and then into this week ahead. Ooh, nice truth card popping out there. I'm going to ask for a self-care wisdom card here. Self. Ooh, I like that visual coming out of the bird cage, opening up. Let's see what the message is. If beating yourself up worked, you'd be thin, rich, and happy. Try loving yourself instead. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the comparisonitis, the not enough isms, the things that get up in our head. This is the devil energy, the stirring the poop energy. You know, I just feel like that there could be some of us that are really having a moment with just maybe being a little difficult on ourselves, a little hard on ourselves as far as the progress that we want to make, that we expected to have made. And then, you know, how jazzed and poised we're feeling and ready to bring it in now. I think that there could be some of that element for some people that are really struggling. Again, that's why I wanted to bring in the grief and loss. So I want to send love out to anyone who is struggling. And again, think about this word ease, you know, just bringing in some more ease and grace into your life. Allow yourself some space, and really, you know, start by focusing on, again, what tools do I have? And even if it's something that I haven't picked up for a really long time that I've got to dust off, it might be, it could be an exercise bike. It could be, you know, any of those things. Where can I start today? You know, just one step, just one seed, just one thing that I can do, and make it something easy that that you can do relatively quickly, and then really acknowledge that victory, acknowledge that, you know, that positive step in the right direction. So again, I love this idea of like, yeah, sure. If you getting all up in your head and embracing that devil energy of all that trash talking to yourself or engaging in any of that behavior worked, then you'd be thin, rich, and happy. So I think we're being given this suggestion of an alternative way of looking at things with love, through the lens of love for ourselves. And again, ease, grace, compassion, gentleness, and in remembering that it is a marathon, not a sprint. So I thank you so much for sticking with me. I know this was a lot of cards. Just wanted to get some insights with all of this energy going on. I hope that everyone is having a wonderful weekend. And as you close that out and are poised to begin the week ahead, I am sending you much love and many, many blessings. Take good care. Have a fantastic week. Thank you.